the mapping of the process, like making something complex simpler, does a couple of things. One is it facilitates conversation, right? Even though we know that it's still, to sell consulting services to a multinational is a complex process. Breaking it down into manageable steps that everybody can work on that create the behaviors that we want are what makes this process easier to work with. So let me go into some tactics that might make this a little clearer. The first thing I do, and what you can't see me doing right now, is I am making a cross with my hands. And it is, make sure you're talking to your customers where they are. So if you can imagine this, on your x-axis going across, your product complexity and your buyer's budget control are the things that are in conflict, right? If you have a simple product and they have a simple low-level budget control, right? So I have $100 and you have something that costs $100, then we need to meet that. It's all set, and that's all that we're after to get that decision. What we're talking about is complex, right, which is complex products, so it's not just off the shelf. And then usually our buyers have more of a budget prioritization. They can pull budget from multiple places if it's going to benefit the business. Okay, so that cross that I'm making helps me orient where we're at. If I'm speaking to somebody in the wrong language because I'm assuming that it's a simple product and that they have a set budget amount, right, that's a make it easy for me to purchase this. If I'm trying to make it easy for them to purchase that, but really what it is they can allocate a lot of budget and the product is actually very complex to them. They need enlightenment as to what the product can do for them. So the way to do this is draw a grid out, and I don't know if you're sitting in front of a piece of paper that you can do this, but if you draw an x-axis across, that's product complexity, right? So less is on the left-hand side and more is on the other side. The very extreme is a super complex product, right? And then if you draw on the y-axis, up at the top is I have ultimate budget control, and at the bottom I have 0 to no budget control. I'm told how much I can spend, and I don't really get to waver from that. That grid, the lower left-hand side is make it easy for me to buy, right? Simple product, and I have a set budget. Up in the upper right is the complex product and unlimited budget control. That is the enlighten me. So all my conversations really need to be about what can happen and what the future can be like. The issue that I see is that what happens is there's a drift that happens inside of companies, and it's not necessarily on the buyer side. One is we drift away from the people who have budget control into the people that have set budgets. That's one drift that happens. But the other drift is that we think that our products are a lot less complex than they are because they are less complex to us than they are to our customers. So when that drift happens, I was at a trade show, and there was what I considered a complex financial instrument that was being sold for lawyers. And I was listening to, since I was next to this person, I could hear them talking to the lawyers, the law firms, as they were coming up and kind of asking about this financing program that they had for cases. And it became clear really quickly that the finance people knew so much about finance that they were trying to describe a way to make this whole transaction easy to these lawyers, but the lawyers had no idea. So they were trying to fit it in. They were trying to say, let us teach you how this product works. But what the lawyers really needed was they were like, we know nothing about finance. So to us, our product is super complex, and I have ultimate budget control. So you just need to show me, like, why is it that I would do this? That's the question that they needed to have answered, is why. Match the pitch to the customer's view is the idea there. And that should be a question that you're asking at every stage along the way with your customers. So that's tactic number one.